You're listening to Straight No Chaser, the only show to quench your talk radio thirst. Some programs dilute the issues. We only serve the hard stuff. Old school, new school. Grab a glass and welcome your hosts, the Chief, MBZ, and Pastor C.
The president tweeted late Friday night, LeBron James was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television, Don Lemon. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy to do. I like Mike, a reference to Michael Jordan.
Welcome to Straight No Chaser. And of course, you just heard MSNBC talking about the interview that LeBron James just had with Don Lemon. Good evening. And welcome to Straight No Chaser, where we never dilute the issues. We only serve the hard stuff. I'm the Chief, and as always, I'm here with Ambeezy.
Hey, it's Ambeezy.
And, of course, Pastor C.
Hey, it's good to be back. Hello.
All right. So, again, we just heard from MSNBC regarding the LeBron James situation. And this evening, we're going to serve you another top shelf issue. Athletes versus the White House. And of course, you know, athletes have come under fire recently from the White House for making comments that were considered unflattering to the president or for simply protesting social issues. It's not just African-American athletes who are participating, but they seem to carry the brunt of the criticism. Recently, LeBron James and Don Lemon had an interview in which LeBron indicated the president was attempting to divide us versus uniting us. And of course, we all know LeBron has always been very engaged in social issues and has no problem with speaking his mind. Other athletes, including Michael Jordan and others, have been criticized for appearing to sit on the sidelines. NFL players, too, have drawn the label as unpatriotic for kneeling during the national anthem as they are attempting to bring issues to the forefront that are impacting the community. There are even media and social reports of younger athletes taking a knee in solidarity to support the athletes who have taken this cause upon their own. The NBA champion Warriors and the Philadelphia Eagles, as you may remember, they were uninvited to the White House, to the traditional championship ceremonies that are afforded to league champions, because many players said, I'm not coming. So Pastor C and Ambeezy this evening, let's talk about athletes versus the White House. So I guess my first question to you, Pastor C and Ambeezy, was LeBron's assessment of the president's motives correct?
I do believe LeBron was correct in his motives. I think that LeBron has been able to have he's been able to have the opportunity to see things on a personal level from when he was younger, before he was who he is now. He's been able to see things that obviously he wants to see change. And now that he has the platform to change those things, he's trying to do that. And now that he sees, you know, this presidential situation and his environment being affected, he does have a right to say something. He was absolutely right in his motives. What do you think, Pastor C?
Well, you know, I believe that sometimes we forget athletes are people. And just because they have influence and they've reached a certain plateau in life, sometimes they're not considered as human beings, and so they are in touch with the afflictions of the people, the injustice, and different things that are happening in the community. And so, when he took a stance as a human being, as a man, and I do believe that his statement towards president number 45 that he is trying to divide. And I consider the statement, he said that I like Mike. Well, when you kind of put that out there, there's always a comparison of Michael Jordan being the greatest, LeBron James is the greatest, and I think that our president used that to combat combat LeBron James and making him feel as if he's not liked or Jordan is better than him. So it is a sense of division there from my perspective that's trying to be inserted in the athletic world.
And I don't know if you saw, but Michael Jordan actually did intervene and kind of made a statement supporting LeBron James. So I'm glad that kind of happened because, he showed solidarity. So no matter what kind of jabs are thrown at LeBron, it's been combated. And that's what I think is the greatest thing, because you don't have LeBron acting out. He doesn't let much get under his skin. So I think he's actually a very good advocate because he's keeping a good head. He sees all the shots that are being thrown his way. He's still keeping it level and not letting it take away from his message. So, keep trying to tear him down. And LeBron also has so many supporters who, regardless of their political stance, they were just offended because you're coming for LeBron.
Well, I would like to add this too, though, guys. Remember, this beef between the president of the United States and LeBron James did not just begin.
Right.
LeBron James was an advocate, and he endorsed Hillary Clinton, who was a candidate for the presidency. And he said some things, too, about our current president. And I think that really stirred the pot between any indifference that LeBron James had and our current president. And so I think our current president jabbed him back, not necessarily for the interview, but he's probably trying to get back at him because of some commentary that LeBron James shared in times past. What do you think about that, Chief?
Well, I certainly agree that there is some animosity there, and we all know that the guy in the White House seems to pride himself on counterpunching. And unfortunately, when you are in charge, you are the man at the top of the heap. You are supposed to set the example. And I go back to, raising your children. As the father and the head of your household, you have to set the example. So if your child is acting out, you're not going to lay on the floor and act out with them. You're going to sort of provide that leadership and that guidance so that you can, end up with the desired result, or you can at least have a decent conversation about whatever that issue is that is bothering that member of your family. So from that perspective, my concern is, where is the leadership?
Good question.
I agree.
Good question.
Because, people are always going to be indifferent. There are always going to be people who don't like you. There are always going to be people who have something to say about what you're doing. And I just think that it's very, very unfortunate that, we have all these international issues and national security issues and immigration issues. We have so many bigger things going on, and you're finding the time at night at like 2-3 in the morning to get Twitter fingers. Like, as a leader, yes, maybe it stings a little bit to have a person that you really admire as an athlete, because let's not forget, just a couple of years ago, Trump was tweeting about how he loved LeBron James. He thought he was one of the greatest athletes and da-da-da-da-da. It was like a series of 4 tweets praising him. So, you might get your feelings hurt by people when they feel some type of way about you, but as the leader of this country, you can't have Twitter fingers. You need to be working on healthcare or something. Like, and especially when this guy is really trying to do some great things for the community. And that's what I think is really sad, because you know, you have so many things going on, and here you have this athlete who just opened a school with you know, a bridge program into college, and just doing all these amazing things. And unfortunately, just like you have diehard LeBron James fans, you have people who will follow Trump no matter what. And him putting LeBron in that negative light is just pulling away from the great things that he's doing, which is unfortunate.
I agree. I want to push this envelope just a little bit, guys, and if we can just talk freely. Yeah. Chief, I have to do this, because when you look at some of the things that our president, and I'm going to say our president with all due respect, because he is technically the president of the United States, okay? And so we do honor him, we respect him. I just think that people expect a certain caliber of leadership when you are the commander in chief of the free world. You know, you are considered the most powerful man in the world. And so when you see certain things, certain commentaries, certain tweets and text messages coming from him, I think that people don't necessarily voice their problem with the government as much as they voice their problems with him.
Right.
If I can quote scripture, the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, okay? Which I believe if someone says it, text it, or tweet it, it came from them. And so I'm having an issue with what's coming out of our president, because it's revealing the type and the caliber of man that he really is. Now, we have to respect him. The Bible tells us to pray for them that have rule over us, that we may live peaceable lives. So I pray for my president. You know, my personal opinion about him is irrelevant. I just think that when you sit and have cat fights, when there's more pressing issues in our land, it causes individuals not to respect what he's doing, because you are challenged with an athlete and you're having conversations with an athlete. And I think that you are causing division in the athletes or whatever because of what you're tweeting and what you're saying. Listen, God bless our president. However, I think that sometimes the things that come from him are so egregious and derogatory that it leads to division. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I think that's one of the concerns that LeBron had, was that it just appears that things are just so divisive right now. Mm-hmm. You know, if you look at the NFL protest and all of the fallout from that on both sides of the issue, you know, you have one group saying that the NFL folks are doing good things, and then you have another group that's saying these guys are unpatriotic. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, instead of us having the focus rather on how are the police and the community interacting, now it's turned into a question of patriotism.
Yeah.
And once again, there is such a misnomer when you think that police and community members working together is only applicable to one particular community. Mm-hmm. As I've said many times, and even in my former life as a law enforcement official, everyone wins when you have better relationships between the community and the police. And I'm not going to belabor that. That's another discussion. But my point is that I think that if there was more understanding about this is the issue that is creating serious concern in the community, as opposed to how dare you say something negative about me. I mean, come on. Whenever you become the leader of anything, whether it's you're the head of the Cub Scout troop, you're the head of the usher board, or you're the head of a major corporation, when you're the top guy or girl, that comes with the territory. You know, you become the focus of people's anger and of people's praise.
Yeah.
And so you sign up for that. You know, it's just like police officers and